Hello everyone and welcome to this video. In this video, we are going to cover data pipelines, governance, and security. So what is a data pipeline? Well, a data pipeline is a series of automated steps to collect, transform, and move data from one system to another. It simply ensures that data flows reliably from its source. This could be a database, as I showed you the definition of a database before, could be an API, for example, to its destination, which could be a Power BI or Tableau dashboard. Let me show you what I mean. First, we'll start with data ingestion. And that means we are going to collect raw data from various sources. This could be databases, for example, like SQL and so on, or sensors. Second step is going to be data validation and quality checks. So we want to ensure that the data is correct, it's complete, doesn't have any missing values, doesn't have any duplicates or outliers. Third, we do data transformation. So we convert data into a usable format. This could be, we're going to perform feature engineering, we can do data wrangling, and so on. Fourth, afterwards, we're going to do data storage. And you can, of course, either send it directly to, let's say, a dashboard and so on, or you can do here data storage. And this could be, for example, saving processed data in a structured and accessible format. Destination could be a data warehouse. If you remember, we covered what do you mean by data house before. The idea is it's basically a layer that sits on top of all the databases that we have, and it's gonna allow the data to be ready for data visualization and for downstream consumers. And then level 5 or step 5 is gonna be for data orchestration or workflow management. This will be managing the sequence and timing of the pipeline steps. And of course, finally, number 6 is data consumption and who uses it. This could be a Power BI dashboard, as I mentioned before. This could be Tableau, or of course, in our case, we wanted to use that data to train artificial intelligence models as part of our AI lifecycle, and that will be data scientists consuming these data sets. Okay, next, I wanted to cover data governance, and we touched base on that before, but basically what I mean by governance is a framework for data management that ensures high quality, consistency, security, and availability as well of data across the entire artificial intelligence lifecycle. Lack of governance is actually severe. It's can cause a lot of issues. It can cause data silos. That means data would be accessed by certain teams and no other team has visibility that this data even exists. Of course, that could lead to bias, poor model performance, and non-compliance. So when it comes to data governance, there are actually 6 kind of key pillars. One of them is ownership, who owns the data, compliance with all the regulations, of course, quality rules, as I showed you before, security, which is coming up next, meta data management, and discovery and sharing. Okay, so who will be able to access this data and what level of teams, for example, who in the organization will be able to access all these features and use them to build their own AI models. So let's go ahead and touch base on data security. So AI systems frequently handle, of course, sensitive, high value data, such as personal identifiers, maybe health records, financial transactions. This is a very highly sensitive information. So any breach that could compromise, for example, the security of this data is really critical. It could violate laws, it could erode trust in AI system, and it can cause a lot of brand damage as well. So there are a lot of risks. One of them is unauthorized access. So that means inadequate, or the description is going to be inadequate access controls, allow attackers or insiders even to access sensitive data. Example of that is an engineer exports training data that should be used to train artificial intelligence models and stay within the company, they maybe could copy that data into an external or personal device. Another example is model inversion attacks, and that's when attackers starts to perform reverse engineering to try to go back. So they have the model ready, they can go back and they try to reverse engineer and see kind of what data has been used to train the model. And that's why we call it model inversion attacks. So example of that is inferring names from a health diagnostic model. You also have data poisoning, and that's when you can inject malicious or biased data into the training pipeline to try to manipulate or change model behavior. Example of that is corrupted labels that might lead to misclassification. And finally, we have adversarial examples, and that's when we have crafted input data to try to fool the artificial intelligence models. And actually, adversarial attacks is a super critical item when it comes to self-driving cars, because just by taking an image of, let's say, a stop sign, just changing some or few of the pixels, you can fool the self-driving car to think that this is not a stop sign. This is maybe like 40 kilometers per hour, for example, or something like that. And just slightly modifying images can cause misidentification, misclassification, and this is a super critical issue as well. So what are the best practices when it comes to data securities that companies need to follow? Well, first is encryption. So you need to perform data encryption in transit when you're moving data from one location to the other, and at rest as well. So in transit, you can use TLS or SSL encryption techniques. And at rest, you can also encrypt the data as well, stored in databases, in data lakes as well, and using AES 256, which is again another encryption technique as well. You can also use cloud native encryption tools such as AWS KMS or key management services. These are services that allow you to encrypt basically your data and ensure very high level of security. The second one is access management. As I mentioned before, kind of as a rule of thumb, okay, we're not going to give access to anyone. That's from a very high level. We're going to minimize access to the specific data across the entire organization. So we're going to first apply role-based access control to limit access based on job function. So for example, human resources should really not see what is happening in the engineering, for example, team, and so on. If they want, if there is a specific use case, well, they need to submit a request, and then you need to either give them access or allow them access or not. It's not like the data is within one company and every team can access that data. Of course, you need to use multi-factor authentication as well for access to data and model repositories. And you can also implement audit logging for all data access and model usage too. So you can actually have kind of a history of who accessed the data, who accessed the model. So if any breach took place, you'll be able to go back and see who accessed that and where the issue happened. Step number 3, or kind of best practice number 3, is data masking and anonymization, which is apply masking techniques like tokenization, for example, when working with production data. 4 is secure data storage. So you need to store data in secure environments. For example, if you put it in AWS or Amazon S3, which is the storage service provided by Amazon, it's going to be encrypted environment, of course. And you can also have the data on premise as well. So if you plan to have your servers on premise, you need to enable as well firewalls and access control too, of course. Number 5, AI specific threat modeling. So you can regularly kind of assess AI specific vulnerabilities using frameworks. And this is a really solid framework by it's called Atlas, which stands for Adversarial Threat Landscape for AI Systems. That's again another way. And finally, number 6 is compliance with regulations. Of course, we need to ensure alignment with applicable data protection laws, such as GDPR, which is the European Union one. We also have the HIPAA for the healthcare data related, and so on. And with that, that's pretty much all I have for this module. I hope you enjoyed it. I know that was an extensive one. Let's conclude in the next video. I hope you enjoyed this one and see you in the next video.